What up, bros and hoes, peeps and creeps? This is Bodala coming to you live from the nest under the Arizona skyline. Doing another video game review, as you could probably tell, because you can see me directly. Eye contact, eye contact. My eyes are up here. Stop, stop. No. Anyways, the game I'm going to review today is a game that I found extremely addicting. I didn't expect it to be. Is The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings. Now, as soon as you get this game, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to be one of the assassins. Well, spoiler alert, you're not. You're, in fact, kind of a sellout. You're the Witcher, but you now serve a king. Uh, and the king is kind of cool guy. He's the coolest of all the kings in this game. Everyone else is a complete douchebag. Seriously, really, just everyone, every other king is the biggest dick in the entire, like, what the hell, like, seriously. And, it's really, this is gonna be probably a two-part, review, because, I have to do the storyline and the gameplay. So how about, let's do the, storyline. Okay, like I said, you are the Witcher, which means you are a mutant, a cross between a human and a witch. People still call you human, but you're like, it's like in Harry Potter, a mudblood, because someone got with a witch, which is unnatural. And I never got how, like, any other species, like witches, elves, um, how they are their own thing, but at the same time they can have sex with humans, right? Like that never made sense to me, like at all. So like I never really understood that, and if they could, then it's completely natural, and I don't know why everybody's making such a big deal out of it. Um, and people need to decide which elf is which. Is an elf a midget who serves Santa Claus, or is an elf someone with a bow and an arrow who like kicks ass? Because I need to know. Um, and why is everybody calling them dwarves now? That doesn't make any sense. Now that's just confusing because dwarves are in direct possession of a battle axe and stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what I don't see little people doing that. So anyway, I don't know. That's political correctness for you right there. Anyways, so the storyline. Um, Completely non-linear story. Every choice you make has a humongous effect on the gameplay, astronomical. It's almost like every single decision just changes the game entirely, and that's pretty cool. Because every decision you make, it changes the story, and the story still goes in a certain direction. It's like if you've ever played The Walking Dead, except more so like altering because it changes the quest lines that you get. It changes certain things that you can do. It changes your friendships with certain people. It makes certain people die, certain people survive. It makes certain decisions happen. Um, every single little choice you make has astronomical consequences, and I love that about this game um, because it's kind of cool. Um, so, anyways, you can. What I did was I sided with Vernon Roach. Terrible idea. He's a cool guy. We were bros to the end. Bros to the end. Terrible decision. He was really cool, and doing everything for him was a good idea. Um, in in it of itself, because he's a good guy and he's like the best friend you'll ever have in the game, but he screws everything up, right? Everything, every plan he has, for you to side with that plan is just stupid. Because he's like, we're gonna go kill this guy. It's like, why are we killing him? Why do we need to kill him? Because killing has humongously negative consequences. Like, if you spare people's lives, it's completely fine. But if you kill people, like, there's this one part where if you kill the king, your ending is gonna be just an apocalyptic hellstorm of just shit falling from the sky, frogs exploding, people getting burned at the stake, entire races of people experiencing genocide. just for killing this one king and then allowing this other one to come to power, which he also suggests. Um, and so that's the ending I got, and I was like, this doesn't follow. This doesn't follow at all. I just chose to be a good friend to this guy, appoint a king who would stabilize the empire, and then all of a sudden every single mage is getting burned at the stake. Um, it was just horrible. And like it ends so dark and terrible, and your girlfriend who you were with the whole time, just like that's the end that I got. You see her dead, you see her getting killed by a group of people, and I'm just like, what the hell? Because I mean, I stayed faithful to that girl the whole time too, um, which is another thing. Just nudity up the ass, quite literally. Just everywhere, everywhere is just a giant nudapalooza. Um, and it's really weird and kind of gross. And people are pissing too. Like you see when everybody's at a party, there are drunk people pissing outside. It's like, yeah, it's really graphic. It's super graphic, super realistic game. I'm surprised it's not rated AO. Um, but anyways, so again with storyline, the kings are dying by this guy named Letho. Letho is a witcher as well. And so in the very first one, guess whose king dies first? Yours, the good one. Um, and he's kind of a douche, but he's not that much of a douche. So he dies first, and you're in this sequence with Vernon Roche where you're telling him what happened because you're the prime suspect. You ended up being with the king when he got killed. It's because you turned your back 1 second to get the kids. You turned your back 1 second so you wouldn't scare the kids, right? And then this guy who was disguising himself as a monk, Letho, he just randomly goes, "Right this way, sir. Let's pray and celebrate your victory in combat." And then he just slits his throat as you're trying to run towards the guy. And so then he just books it out the window, and obviously no one sees that. I mean, he's a huge tank of a guy. No one sees this guy just like busting out a window and just like flying down. Like, somebody's got to be an eyewitness to that. Like, I wouldn't miss that. So anyways, but yeah, he gets away, and then your character, Geralt, the Witcher, he gets accused of killing the king, and he's like, fuck me, this is a bad situation. And so then he ends up in jail talking to Vernon Roche about all of this because Roche was there. And so then eventually Roche believes your story. You escape. He helps you escape. And then, yeah, this is probably going to be 3 videos actually. 2 on the story, and then this is gonna be a long ass video. Okay, so then you run into a guy where if you spared him, it was a prince. If you spared him, he's all like, "Oh, well, you gotta clear the guards and then get me to the oil refinery part, and then you can escape." And then I was like, "Okay, I guess." And then we did that, and then all of a sudden he's like, "This was a one-way trip," and he's all dramatic, and then he just lights a torch, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he just sets fire to everything, and just blows up, and I'm running away, and like, you find out later he completely survived that, which is like bullshit, because it's just like, what? How did you do that? And he's like, look, I know I knew the castle walls like the back of my hand, right? I knew how to do. It's like, that doesn't matter. You were vaporized. Like, it's not like you can just nuke an area and be like, well, I knew the area well, so I survived. It's like, no, that's not the main thing. It wasn't the area that was gonna kill you. But yeah, he survives, and then you just talk to him, and then you're like, what brings you here? And he's like, nothing. And that's it. Like, you don't need to say anything else about it. I felt like it would be an interesting story. Kind of like the guy in Resident Evil 4 who's always traveling, like the merchant, He always goes, what are you buying? It's like, how did you get here? I just killed like 30,000 zombies on my way over here. You're just standing here outside with your lantern? With a lantern. Everybody can see you. Everyone, you're this huge ass guy with a bunch of equipment and a lantern. And where do you get all these guns? Anyways, Resident Evil 4, that's off topic. So, that was a shiver. Okay, so, The Witcher. As I was saying, long ass storyline. I played it for like 2 days straight to finish it. So yeah, that's why this is probably gonna be really long. And so that's just like the first part. You escape the burning area, and then Roche is all like, "What the fuck is your problem? I told you to escape, not burn the place to cinders." And then you're like, "Well, wasn't my fault. It was this guy." And he's like, "Okay, whatever." Um, and there are a lot of times when he says those cheesy phrases like, "Well, to make an omelet, gotta break a few eggs." And then I'm just expecting there to be like this, this like epic like metal music and him to put on sunglasses and walk away. It's just like, and it's just, yeah, it's just really cheesy lines like that. Another big one with him is an enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, which he says like all the time. I think that's one of the tenets of Witchers. Um, but anyways, uh, so yeah, um, and so he escapes. They end up in God, I forget what the place is called, the Volstadt or something along those lines. And they end up there, uh, and there's this guy there. God, I forget everyone's name. Uh, there's this guy there. He's the leader of the entire area. You're about to experience a hanging, um, because two of your friends are about to get hanged. Which one of them looks like he deserved it. His name was Dandelion. Uh, and if your name is Dandelion in these games, you're dead right out of the gate, right? You can't survive. Your name's Dandelion. Okay, we have Geralt, we have Vernon Roche. Also, you have your girlfriend. Um, God, what the hell is her name? I'm completely forgetting everyone's name. Um, but anyways, you got everyone. Everyone has a cool name. The other guy's name is Zoltan. You know, Zoltan. Uh, from Dude, Where's My Car? Uh, yeah, Zoltan, and his name is Dandelion, and you find out he's the narrator of the whole story. He's the one who's telling the entire story. If you go into your quest book, it looks like it's being told in the third person, which it is, and it's being told by him. And he is just the pranciest kind of guy. He became a bard even though he was supposed to be spying on things, doing cool stuff. But no, he became a bard and he's singing songs and he's meeting girls and blah blah blah. And he's about to get hanged. Um, and so you gotta save them. And then when you do, they're all like, "Ooh, thank you, we're in your debt." And you're like, "Dandelion, you got some splaining to do." And he's like, "Aw." And um, and so then, yeah, there's that. Uh, and there's this whole thing where you're dealing with comes up with he teams up with Yorvith, the king of the Sequoiatel, um, who are these elves who hate people, essentially. They were like the pretext to this is that non-humans are hated, and the Sequoiatel stepped up to defend against uh, uh, kind of persecution, and so they kill every single person that comes to their territory, and they take their stuff, and that's how they survive. So everyone hates them, um, and then so Yorvith, who you can choose between Roche and Yorvith, and quite frankly, Roche makes more sense. But Yorvith is a dick, so obviously he's the better choice according to the game. Um, so, anyways, you're dealing with all that, and you're trying to find Letho, and you don't even know his name's Letho yet. I just know his name's Letho. Um, so you're trying to figure out a bunch of stuff, and there are all these quests that you have to do, and you have to kill this giant beast with a bunch of tentacles, essentially the tentacle rape monster. You also have to either kill or get rid of a troll. You have to do a bunch of stuff before you can actually get to the bottom of things. And then there's this girl you meet named Sheila, who knows everything. You find out at the end of the game she knew everything all along, and she didn't say shit, she didn't do shit, she didn't do anything. Uh, so it's like, what the hell, Sheila? And that's not even how you spell Sheila. It's like Sile with an accent over the I. It's not Sheila. So anyways, um, she helps you kill the Cayenne thing, the tentacle ray monster. Um, and once you're done killing this tentacle ray monster, then everybody starts to love you and blah blah blah. You can finally find Yorvith. This is where the plot like really gets complicated. And you go up to this one area, and you have to try and battle Letho. Eventually, after you get a Rose of Remembrance or whatever. Um, and this is with Yorvith. You go to Yorvith because obviously Letho's gonna betray them. Ooh, shocker there. So then Letho's gonna betray them. So you go to Yorvith and you pretend to take him hostage and take him in. And he's like, "Ooh, well, you brought me a present." He's like, "Wait, you son of a bitch, you were against me." And then he's like, then Roche comes in and he randomly kills everybody. And at that point, I'm like, "What the fuck, Roche? Why are you doing this? When did you even come into this situation?" Roche and all of his men, the Blue Stripes, start killing all of the Sequoiatel. And then, this is where I veered. Yorvith's like, "Give me my sword," and I'm like, "Screw you," and then I just punch him in the neck, and then Roche just keeps killing him. Um, and then Yorvith is taken hostage, and blah blah blah. Um, so then, uh, at that point, you have to defeat Letho. Once you do, he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna take your girlfriend and have her transport me somewhere," and you're like, "No." And then, so yeah, she gets kidnapped, and you're like, "Oh shit." And then you gotta find her. Um, so I'm gonna stop with the storyline there because it's already been pretty long. Uh, like, favorite, subscribe if you enjoyed. This isn't as funny as I wanted it to be, but I'm gonna try and make the next few pretty funny. So yeah, this is Bodala signing out.